if I'm gonna quit the internet, at least until April, I want to make sure that my last video is strong. And I want to make sure that something is clear here. The FBI they're evil. I wanted to cuss, but they are evil. When I was a little kid, I searched for animal pictures on the internet. And you know what showed up? Pictures of women sucking horses' cocks. And I'm just saying that's not a normal thing. I was targeted because my family was suspected of drug trafficking. And if your family suspected of drug trafficking, you're not a human being to these people. I'm just saying the FBI is bad. When I was 18 years old, they rigged my car so that my hood went through my windshield. My entire life, they have tried to ruin me. I bought pot plants from a guy that told me he was being watched by the feds. And I was like, oh, I don't really care about that. He said there was a van outside watching him. And you know what I think is that guy was a cop. And you know what that guy did? He sabotaged my farm to make sure I couldn't be in the marijuana business anymore. He ruined my business. They have been trying to ruin me my entire life, and they finally did it. I'm about to be someone that has a psychiatric disorder on his background check, who is a security expert, and I'm going to be a felon. Because the FBI is lying. Because they're saying, oh, no, he's crazy. He thinks that he's being stalked by the FBI. He thinks that that this guy handed him a loaded pistol, and when he realized the gun was loaded, he was like, whoa, dude, why'd you give me a loaded gun? He cleared the gun out, and then the guy shot a cap gun at him. He thinks that, so he must be mentally ill. He thinks someone broke into his house and broke his door, only his bedroom door. And this was before I even knew that I was suspected of drug trafficking. Even then, I didn't even know. But what I did know is that I hung out with a girl that told me that she had been interrogated by the feds over a raid at a horse ranch. And what I'm trying to tell you is that these people are evil. And I feel like there's no way the general population can see my videos, or else someone would have offered me a job. Someone would have reported on this. But maybe some people outside the FBI can see it. Maybe some people from the Department of Homeland Security can see it. And they can hear what I'm saying. And what I'm telling you is these people are so sweet looking. They're very good looking. They have very nice degrees. They can convince you of all kinds of bullshit. But what I'm telling you is they're evil. They're evil people. And in a world full of Christians, what you have to understand is they're freaking bad. Just because they're religious doesn't mean they're smart. I mean, if there's anything that you should know at this point, well, you probably haven't figured this out because you're probably religious. But what I'm trying to tell you is religious people are stupid. And it doesn't matter what their degree says, they're stupid. And they have the ability to learn, but they're not very smart. Joe Biden keeps putting Indians in charge of everything. But have you ever heard of what India's like? It's the shittiest country in the world per capita. It has the dumbest people per capita. But somehow we've made sure that everyone that's in charge of COVID-19, because they're all from Harvard or whatever, is a bunch of Indians or black people. And I'm just saying Africa's shitty too. And like, I know that I'm not allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say that maybe where you're from can be indicative of how smart you are, especially as far as creativity goes. I'm not allowed to say that because you will be banished from the internet. And maybe I'll be kicked off of YouTube, because I'm sure that YouTube is full of Indians. I know that Google, their CEO is Indian, and I know that Microsoft's CEO is an Indian, and clearly that means that Indians are the smartest, but I'm just saying they're very, very, very not. I mean, so what I'm trying to tell you is, like, when you listen to me and I sound like I don't care about people dying, when in reality I was sitting there reading about these people in Africa that are struggling to survive because they can't work because of COVID-19. And I was reading about these healthcare workers that are really struggling in Africa with the COVID-19 situation because they can barely do basic medicine. It breaks my heart. It actually does. I actually care about people that are suffering. But in reality, I fucking hate people now. This isn't who I am. Like, who I am is someone that wants to benefit the world. I don't want to sit around, I'm going to spy on people all day. I'm very competent. My job is listening to everything you say and being obsessed with you and trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life. No, my whole life, I work like 10 hours a day, maybe more, on a lot of days, a lot more than that. I mean, you guys watch me, and I'm talking about the feds. The feds watch me enough to know that I probably work 12 hours a day. That's why I can make these incredible videos. That's why I mean, you have to understand, when I was in grad school getting my master's degree, I got 1B when I was in grad school, and I got all A's other than that. And you know what I was doing the entire time? I was taking courses online from Princeton and from MIT and from University of Michigan and from all these different schools, like from a school in Switzerland, and I was teaching myself programming, and I was learning all this cybersecurity stuff on the side because I am someone that works my ass off. I work so freaking hard. So when I'm about to be declared incompetent because the FBI needs to cover for themselves. Oh no, we didn't rig his car so that his hood went through his windshield. Of course not. Why would we do that? He was just an 18-year-old that drove to Colorado and had no idea like what was really going on. I mean, I'm sure it was just a coincidence that his hood went through his windshield. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that guy handed him a pistol and shot a cap gun. Just a coincidence. This has nothing to do with the FBI. The FBI, we're good people. Trust me. We all can pass a fucking drug test. Therefore, we are good. But guess what? While I'm smoking pot, am way more competent than you. I can record an album. My Glass Roads album, it deserves a Grammy. Not for what I've recorded so far, because I need to actually record everything properly. I didn't have proper microphones for all my songs. And guess what? I don't give a shit, because I don't think people deserve to hear my music the way it's going to be someday. I think people deserve to die. And that's because they drive big trucks and they're selfish and they don't give a shit about other people, and they sit there and they lie, and I listen to media and it's like bullshit. It's like, oh, this poor mother, her son died. She raised $60,000 so she can send his body back to Honduras. Well, but it's actually a lot more. She raised more money than his death. And then she's going to get another $100,000 from suing people. But the fact of the matter is she didn't get her kid a freaking blanket. She didn't take care of her child. She was incompetent. Probably because she didn't know English enough to go ask her neighbor, hey, do you have an extra blanket? I don't have enough blankets at my house. She probably should have been checking in on him, but the reality is he was 11 years old, so he was old enough he should have probably taken care of himself. I don't know why the kid didn't take care of himself. But what I'm trying to say is the news is whatever they are. They probably don't even know I exist, because my letters probably haven't gotten through. Clearly, no one's emailed me. No one's called me. But I'm sure that there are some Congress people that know what's going on, and what you guys need to know is these FBI people are evil. They are evil. Like, they are evil. And they are the reason that this is happening to our country. So when this guy from Africa is going, oh, maybe we've sinned and that's why we're getting hurt by COVID-19. The reality is maybe the Americans have sinned. And I don't think you guys have sinned. I just think you're not that special. And I heard Joe Biden's speech today, and damn, it was good. That was the best speech I've ever heard Joe Biden give, because he cares about these people dying from COVID-19. And guess who else cares? I do, but at the same time, I don't. You know why? Because you guys have been so freaking mean to me. Because right now you're ruining my life when all I want to do is make the world a better place. I want to create programs that stimulate children's minds to make them better adults. I want my ideas to be encouraging them as they get older, and they don't even realize that it's me in their head that's making them want to be a better person, making them want to make the world a better place. That's who I am. I don't want to. I got to figure out how to ruin this guy and put this guy in prison. And once I get him in prison, oh, it's the best day of my life, because I guarantee you that's Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris loved every time she put someone in prison. But that's who we want to be in charge. You know why? Because she's freaking black. And I swear to God, all I hear on TV is about black people, black people, black people, black people. And guess what? No one's telling them they can't get shots. No one's telling them they can't get... It's like, no, they don't have access to computers. Go to the freaking library. Do you know how many times I have not had a computer? A lot of times. Do you know how many times I've not had a cell phone? A lot of times. Do you know that I actually enjoy it because I hate getting stalked so much? That's the truth. And it's not very hard to go to the library. You live in the freaking United States. And the fact that we really have to sit there and talk about black people all freaking day when they're not... Dude, the world doesn't revolve around black people. Black people should be grateful to live in this country. But they're not. Because they want to be in charge, and they want to make sure black people are in charge. And the fact of the matter is, like, I don't think they're as smart per capita as white people. That's a fact. It's not very hard to figure out who invented everything, but I can't say that because I'm offensive. And this ruins my entire video I'm making right now, because that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is how evil the FBI is, and how evil the cops are in this town, and how they know what's going on with this town. But the reality is, what you guys did, what Congress just did, is you put a foreign spy, Joe Neguse. You put him, and he's the all-star of the impeachment hearing. Dude, I'm just saying, like, do you think I know a little something about Colorado? Do you think Boulder is kind of like where I actually want to live? Because I live in the freaking conservative capital of the world, but I have to be surrounded by, like, okay, so there's Boulder and there's Colorado Springs, and you know what they are? Same thing as far as cops. Overwhelmed by feds. That's a fact. So, like, I'm sure that a lot of you guys think Joe Neguse isn't a spy from, like, that like has connections to the Eritrean government through his family, but it doesn't freaking matter. What I'm trying to say is, the FBI's evil, and, like, you can put me in a mental hospital and you can do everything you can to shut me up, and you can try to get me murdered, because let's face it, you've tried to do it a lot of times. And what I'll continue saying is the FBI's evil, and you guys don't contribute to the world. Like, you don't make the world a better place. You make the world worse, because you ruin people like me, because you sabotage my farm, because Gene from Littleton sabotaged my farm, and he ruined and let's face it, I'm glad I'm not in the pot business. I want to do something more with my life. I always wanted to do online education, and that's what I'm going to do now. And so I'm going to do it by myself, because I'm not allowed to make money, because somehow YouTube's decided that I'm not allowed to legally make money, because they're allowed to censor me. So good for you guys. I'm sure you guys do a lot with your time. Yeah. You have a company that pretty much runs itself, and I'm sure you guys write a lot of code that doesn't really do that much, but well, at least you have a platform that does something that no one else does.